All right, I'm here.
Yo, I am trying to drink water out of the galleon. It is such a bad cup.
Not surprised with how it looks.
I know. I knew exactly what I was getting into, so I'm probably gonna use it as a planter at some point. It's just that this is so funny. Trying to actually drink out of this thing while holding it. Like, how do I
You
like?
go from the very front,
And so I have
in
to
between
like.
the ears.
So it's like drinking from a teapot at that point. Cause all right, let me turn on the camera for this. All right, so look at this. You hold it, and there's the ears, and here's the front, and then so like if you drink it like this, then the ears get in the way of your mouth, and so you have to drink from the front, which means that you're basically pouring water into your mouth from a spigot.
Yep, that's what it looks like too.
Oh boy.
Look,
Uh,
decisions were made.
definitely. I did this with my eyes open on. It's like we looked at it and we're, this is gonna be a bad cup, and I bought it anyway. And I'm like, this is a bad cup. I love it. You ready to go? It's 5 minutes early, but we can just do this.
I mean, we still have last week's stuff to go over, so yeah,
Well,
which
this week
is
barely has
this
anything,
week.
so All right. So, hello everyone. This is Granblue Radio. This is episode number 362. We're in the middle of Unite and Fight right now, but it's kind of a policy of ours that we just don't talk about it. There's the only change that they did this time around. There was a quality of life change where if you want multiple weapons, you can get multiple weapons. That's
I thought
good.
the quality of life was they released the 5-star on time.
I mean, that's a 5-star thing. That's not necessarily quality of life, although, he is
Well, a
very
lot of
good at
times
this fight.
we've missed it by a couple weeks.
Oh, this is true. And they actually gave you a few days um, to level him. Although, they also gave you 50 gold books, so
Thank you, Raziel.
yeah, Raziel kind of hooked it up for future 5 stars. So anyway, uh, yeah, both of us were traveling in different ways for the last couple weeks. I'm tired, man. I've
I mean,
been
you definitely were not home for like most of those weeks.
I was gone for 3 weeks. It was certainly a thing. Let's talk about what we have for this week, shall we?
Hmm.
All right, and then I'll just have Nightmare 200 idly running in another window. All right, so we have 2 new characters. We have 8 rebalanced characters, one of whom is already getting a ton of use, and the other is who we can talk about a lot. The Let's see here. Let me make sure. So there's a 5 star, and then yeah, let's begin. So do you want to start with the new characters? Do you want to start with the 5 star? Do you want to look at the
Characters.
rebalances? New characters. All right. So I have one of them, and so I'm going to just go over uh, the new Yukata De La Fee because she's the one that I have. The other one I'll have to look up. So I can actually look at De La Fee's info right now. Here's Yukata De La Fee. She is dark. She is heal type, which, and the thing about her that we've seen is that she fills a pretty big need that Dark was having because has started hitting its like struggle point where it's too offensive, and when it came to like Lucio and not Lucio, sorry, Lucy Zero, and all of the challenges and the hoops that they make you jump through, it was having trouble. Like it's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy, of course. But here comes De La Fee with a whole lot of defense. So, um, I haven't actually gotten any of these skills, but one of the things that happens is that any time that the enemy has full charge diamonds, she gets a cut to the Jeweled Protection cooldown. And Jeweled Protection is her signature buff. So normally cooldown 12 turns, 5 turns of unremovable buff. And the things that she gives overlap with another character who's sort of a more offensive version of her. So it's meter up, to everybody.
10%.
Um, 10% isn't really like that impressive, given that Dark also has a character who gives 50% up and is very strong. But you know, you're not bringing Vikala to a lot of super high level raids right now. Um, then there's Light Switch for 5 turns, which overlaps with Lich, and so we'll be comparing her a lot to Lich because these two characters share a lot of uh, like kit concepts. Then she has light damage lowered, so she converts all the damage you take. She makes you take less damage, and then you get revitalized for 3 turns or 5 turns.
Yep,
And
1,000 heal as standard.
yeah, and so this collection of things, this also overlaps with Lich, where Lich wants you to gain some health every turn as well, via quote unquote putting a dot on you and then reversing it. But this overlaps a whole lot, and so Lich's is very easy to keep up all the time. She just has to CA, and
And it's really easy to CA.
yeah, she gives herself set like 50 meter at the end of every turn, 75 or 55, or there's a lot of different ways to boost the amount of meter that she gets. But anyway, so that's her signature there. This is the thing that she wants to press a bunch, and the harder the boss is, the more often its dots will be full, and the more often that this jeweled protection will be up. Um, Next up, so she has a 7 gems thing. Every time she presses a button, up until 7, she gets healing specs up, which is an important kind of thing, along with attack, defense, and multi-attack. And we can't ignore multi-attack in hard raids anymore, DJ, because everybody's got a triple attack now.
Her triple attack only goes up to how much now?
Let me see here.
Are we talking about her passive?
Yeah, her passive.
It goes 35.
So it's 5% each? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't have that up before we started this. All right. And then, let's see here. Let's go to her heal and her CA, because those two are connected to each other. So her heal is for, let's see, 2,000, which goes up once she has full 7 gems. Her heal specs go up by another 35%, so it'll be what, 2,700? No, not quite.
She also has 2 heal nodes.
Yeah, so it'll be about 3,000 each time she hits this thing. It also removes the debuff, and also, very importantly, gives you 10 meter. And as an additional thing, it gives you a shield when you're at 7, and that shield is another 2,000. So this basically becomes a heal for like 5,000, which is pretty significant, and especially since it resets every time that she CAs, and it accelerates itself, because you're going to have charge bar gain boosted, and you'll press this button to gain like 11 meter, and then that'll accelerate her next one, which etc. It also gives her CA also gives everyone chaser, and
10%.
this matters once again for very hard modes where hit count matters, where you're trying to do things like 40 hits in a turn, 99 hits in a turn, 60 hits in a turn, etc. So having this available is very strong. It's one of the reasons, for example, that people were using Parazonium in Cosmos. So it's a very good tool to have in the toolbox. And the last thing about her is Prism Particle over here. It extends buff durations by a turn, which means that Jeweled Protection stays up even longer. And it is 3 hits, I believe, when she has 7 gems.
It is.
Yeah, which isn't like the be all end all. It's not like you're doing like 8 hits or something like a bunch of water characters do, but it's significant. Dark Kupitan I think also does a bunch of hits, but this whole thing is basically Lich but defensive. And that's got its place, and it's very strong in that niche. I don't think there's anything much else to say about this character. She's just very strong at keeping you alive, and then also fulfilling a bunch of the V2 requirements
She is definitely a manual character.
for sure. Given that she starts a green button over when she CAs, and so in full auto that just won't do anything.
Yeah, you kind of want that meter too.
Yeah, you also want the shield, you want the heal, you just plain want to press the button to get her to 7 gems as soon as possible. So there's a whole lot going on here, but I'm in favor of this character. As soon as I start doing Hexachromatic Hierarch and or Lucy Zero as Dark, I am definitely going to be happy that I have her. Next up, we have Fire Elmot.
The man who is only fire.
I mean, he had a story about him. He's the Fire Shaman, right? Like it's well, we don't have another Petra yet, but I'm sure that Petra will only be wind, right? Right? I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, she was light.
Fair enough. All right. Here's Yukata Elmot over here. And this one will be a lot faster because the problem with this is that there's a lot of jobs that he does that are already done by other characters. So for example, his CA gives you singed, and it also gives you delay. Um, the CA delay thing would have been great like 2 years ago. Right now it's fine, but not like game changing. He
He gets
gives
fire
you
crests,
he
and
does use yeah
there's like only one other character that cares about fire crests.
in a significant way, yeah. Like so he gives you crests here, and when he has 5 crests, this nuke does 10 hits. So he can do 10 hits of nuke. We'll get back to that. We'll talk about this in the re-updates and the balance changes. So keep that in mind for a little bit later. Night Sky Inferno raises your singed, so he's a singed friend for Percival and for Anna. He also gives multiple debuffs on this button. So when you get to 5 singed, this thing is worth 6 debuffs because he does singed, multi-attack down, and then does it again. So, 6 debuffs on a button is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Then here's Wildfire Wheel. This is the funny one. This is the funny button right here. So once he has 5 crests, this is your payoff. So everybody gets some triple attack, which, it's welcome. We talked about how important it is to have an entire team of triple attackers these days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you do, what is it? This is the wording for damage amp, I think, for Seraphic. For the attacks made with elemental superiority deal boosted damage.
According to this, is actually crit.
It's crit? Oh, okay. My bad. So it's 20% crit, that's right. And then fire damage, this is the big one. Deals fire damage to a foe after normal attacks. So, everybody gets a nuke after they attack, and the nuke is 500k-ish before boosts. So what does that turn into in modern numbers? Is that like 2 million-ish?
I don't know on this one.
Yeah, it goes to around 1.5 million and can go higher, depending on which opus you have and things like that. And so this part, for example, if you have Percival on your team and you attack out of turn, this thing does an additional 4 hits of nuke. It also does a lot of damage, and then you hit the attack button, you get more of it, and it lasts for 5 turns. So that's funny, and also very strong. It has a long ass cooldown, but this effect for your entire team lasting 5 turns is nuts. I'm looking at the numbers. The triple attack to your entire team is 50%, which is very good. And then he has a few reactive things. So he has his skill nuke, the one that gives him a crest. It resets, or sorry, it doesn't reset. It activates anytime the foe uses a special attack, which is important because this is his only real way to get crests internally. So without help, Wildfire Wheel takes forever to get started. And then the last one is when he normal attacks someone who has singed 7 or more, he does an extra 3 hits of nuke, and everybody else gets stackable skill damage up.
Yeah, it goes up to 50%. Very good. Oh no,
Yeah,
that's the skill damage. Cap is 30%. Still good.
still very good. Yeah, I was seeing like full amped versions of the Wildfire Wheel, and yeah, it was like 2 million extra per hit, and happening for 5 turns. That button essentially represents something like, including no attacks out of turn, which is a very big assumption in the element that has the sun, then it's worth 20 million plus damage. Sorry, it's worth 40 million plus damage, and that goes up every time you attack out of turn. So yeah, there's a lot going on here, but where do you fit him?
Fire's too crowded.
Yeah, and it's like he needs external help with crests, which Fire doesn't really get very well yet. And he also has Singed going on, and there are other characters who are better at feeding Singed to Percival. Although, nothing says that you can't run these two together. But yeah, it's an
Wow,
interesting thing.
his Sig
But
just also takes a lot longer than Percival's.
yeah, it takes a lot longer than Percival. Anyway.
Like, the best case is always Willness. I have to use Willness because this is a limited character. So,
hmm
his best friend's Willness, but sometimes you just ignore Willness and you
hmm
just let it naturally happen.
Yeah, also true. Especially since, what is it? It's 2 per CA for Percival?
Yeah.
hmm
Also, Reno was right. Phoenix Stick does 2/3 of what Elmont already does.
Also true. All right. So, unfortunate for Elmont, but he does have some cool things. I think there will be releases in the future. Like every time a Crest character comes out in Fire, you'll look at him again, but we'll see what happens on that one. All
Uh,
right. Whoop,
the
go
answer
ahead.
is I still love his other SSR.
Yeah, just the regular version with the reactive dispel.
Yeah, that's
It's
super important in a
it
lot
is
of these fights.
yeah, yeah. Like Elmont continues to get pulled out for every Uniting fight, which is a very good place to be for a regular character. All right, 5-star time?
Sure.
All right. So let's talk Halel Ben Sahar, aka Lucio. So,
AKA Poopy.
aka Poopy he is, it's true. So, the 5-star update to this character, you were talking about this, and I don't disagree, where you don't really like it when like fundamental lore bits are dropped in a limited character's uh, Fate episodes.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm curious about this. So this one is about the world. So yeah, I agree with you on this one. But like, I remember when Grace was introduced in Halloween, Vazaraga, and Zeta, and it was just like a hint and a foreshadowing of future stuff. And then when they properly introduced Grace as a character, it didn't require you to have read those or anything like that. And so that one I didn't mind. I got Vazaraga and Zeta way later, but by that time, like the Moon storyline had already started and things like that. Is that something you also are not a fan of, or?
I didn't even know she was in those stories. So, you know,
Yeah, she just it's an introduction. She kind of feels like a monster of the week at that point, you know? But then she gets introduced properly in an event. This one's kind of a sequel to Heart of the Sun, and like tries to set up more things. So yeah, the lore being hidden behind there is not something I'm a big fan of either.
I mean, there was also lore hidden behind transcending your Bahamut and Lucifer's.
True enough. I actually haven't read those yet, even though I actually have done those processes. I
I
should
had to
read
wait a
those at some
year.
point. Yeah. That said, let's talk about this character as a character. Um, as my other window has him like beating the snot out of this bunny. All right, so we start with what Lucio was. He used to just be a like back in the dark ages of light when you couldn't triple attack, when like everything was hard to come by. Lucio basically was the one character who could actually triple attack a lot and hit really hard, but his defense kept going down, so he would just die.
Yeah, both him and Olivia.
Yeah.
Just have that on stacked onto their passive.
hmm So now the following things happen. So let's go in level order. As soon as he hits 5-star, his CA goes from Paradise Lost over to Call of Eden. And among other things, so the light attack up stays, but it also adds dark damage reduction, which is important. Then it continues to have the Out of the Ashes activates twice thing, but it also adds you end the cooldown for Out of the Ashes, so you actually get to cast your double nuke. So it gives it the Twayan experience.
Yeah, you know what's funny? It's Crown of Ashes is dispellable. So it felt
Yeah,
really bad
yeah.
not having it up.
I
It's still dispellable, by the way, but
Yeah, I agree on this one. The nice thing is that we do have a farmable weapon that gives Dispel Cancel in Light. Uh, it does require you playing a dagger class, but Concordia Mark II does have Dispel Cancel on its CA.
yeah, I spent this morning making it Mark II.
Ooh, condolences.
Yeah, I guess who needed 200?
Ooh, gross. All right, that said, let's move on. Level 90. At level 90, his passive down here upgrades to Morningstar Plus. So uh, it loses the part where his dark defense would keep going down every turn. He gets dodge, which is hard to notice. It's always hard to notice dodge. Like it's welcome when it happens, but you don't know when it's because of this a lot of the time.
Yeah, you still take it. It's still good.
Yeah. And he starts the battle with an unremovable buff, sorry. Um, and it says when an ally is in red health at the end of the turn, he elixirs you. Everybody who's a light ally goes to full HP, all of their debuffs go away, and they get 100 meter. Or instant CA standby, actually, which is
Just 100
better
meter.
in most cases. But yeah, so um, this part, it's a very welcome thing. It usually heals you for a lot, and it only goes off when you need it. So that's awesome. Level 95, Out of the Ashes upgrades here, and it gives you damage amp. Also, the cap goes up a lot, and so this thing hits like a truck,
Yeah,
especially
it goes
since it
from
double
1 million to
casts.
1.4 and double
Yeah,
casting.
and importantly, this whole package, the thing that's not written about this, is that it gives him Wings of Justice up to 6 very fast now because of his CA. Um, like he starts with one of them by hitting Out of the Ashes on turn 1. He gets another one from triple attacking by hitting the Awakenings over here. And then every time he CAs, he'll get 2 more. Like he doesn't have to wait to cast this anymore, so he stacks up very fast compared to his old version. Um, and then level 100, he gets Light Up the Night over here. It gives him a one-time double strike. It gives him 1 hit of Unchallenged. And then the rest of these buffs happen. And these are the undispellable ones, and they happen more than once. So his debuff resistance goes up. It's 100%. So full immunity to debuffs. Dispel cancel on himself. Just they stay on. When he normal attacks, he gets Out of the Ashes. So it just happens. You get the big ass nuke and the 6 hits of damage amp for whoever's after him in line.
Well,
At
there's a caveat on that part.
which part?
What happens directly afterwards?
Yeah. If and then at the end of the turn, after everything's done, he does 5 hits of light damage. So, I mean,
He also gives himself double strike,
mhm.
so he'll use that and then reapply it. It's sick
that
for that
turn is
turn.
that turn is so nice. Um, but yeah, welcome back to super strong levels, Lucio, because he heals, he uh, deals a bunch of damage, he debuffs. Yeah, he does a lot of things. Like people were like, I wonder if this the Luo strategy works with Lucio. The Luo strategy where your entire team blocks in Super Bahamut and you just have a double striking Luo or Lucio. It works. You can solo Super Ultimate Bahamut that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, like he will break all of the um, things that matter while he's double striking. It's pretty sick. Like just by swinging, he'll do something like 15 million skill damage just by existing. It's so crazy. Anyway, yeah, great update. Just crazy good.
Yeah, he's being used right now in Unite Fight.
He's being used right now in hard modes. Yeah, like it's great. Nothing else to say. 10 out of 10 update. All right, it's time to get to the interesting part, DJ. Let's go talk about the rebalance that happened on April 4th.
I thought Lucio was already interesting.
This is interesting in quotation marks because some of these are interesting times interesting. The old Chinese curse. So they had 8 characters that they identified as needing an update, and we start in numerical order. So number 1 of the Eternals, they added um so they brought him up to speed on cap fire damage taken. So instead of 10,000 per hit, it's now 5,000 per hit. Okay,
That's
sure.
good. Yeah, they needed that.
Yeah. Now whenever he gets targeted, when he gets to Spiral Spear plus plus, which is a transcend level, he activates Spiral Spear plus plus.
Wait, I
Uh,
thought it says right
or
here
sorry,
it's
it's
85.
85. Sorry, my bad.
The
That
auto
is the
activate is.
uncap level. Uh, yeah,
He exists.
he exists. He's not.
Your one turn's a lot easier technically.
Yeah. Um, he's not. Yeah, we were
He's not
talking
good
about this.
still.
He's not good still. We're moving on. Here's probably the best change out of all of these for Toyen. There are so many things going on here. So her new CA gives Keen, and by new I mean, let's see, Stellar Termination is the Transcend one, so level 110 basically. The Keen uh, matters a lot because her upgraded skill 1, which is actually a level 85 thing, gives her,
Flurry for 2 turns and bonus light damage for 2 turns.
yeah, so it gives her, just casual 18 hits. Um, and she has Keen up here, so 18 hits plus Keen means that you add on a whole bunch of damage. This is something that we've seen with every Flurry character. Funny thing that we've seen. So she's been used a lot in Unite and Fight, right? Uh, most of the Eternals have their abilities flagged as being copyable, which can lead to great things, with True in water. Um, and now,
Lulu in 2 different elements.
yeah, Light Lunalu can copy this, and people were making great use of that one.
Yeah, and Lunalu guaranteed to triple attack when she loses health.
hmm Um, so Depravity plus the accuracy of the debuff effects outside of zombie and death have been increased. That's a quality of life thing. That's nice.
You never trust lethal hit in the first place, anyways.
Yeah. And zombie, they just turn it off for things that matter. Um, they added on for her skill 4 the turn-based debuffs extend by 3, so the local ones, which is nice. It's really funny for enemies that can still be paralyzed. She owns them even harder. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, one of her debuffs is a local paralyze instead, so
Yeah. Here's one of the biggest ones for me. Echo String Rights Plus. So, we were talking about this with Lucio, where one of Light's old problems, and Toyen was like the poster girl of this, was that it just couldn't multi-attack. It just wasn't happening. And now with her new passive that counts based on how many debuffs the enemy has, uh, she just triple attacks now.
I
Like,
wish I had 2 extra weeks to get my anima for this because she's still stuck at 130 for me.
that's unfortunate. But yeah, so the Echo String Right skill, the support that you get at level 150, um, it, yeah, like the new numbers on it are, let me go look again. It is, yeah, at 10 debuffs on, it's a guaranteed triple attack. Well, it's 100% triple attack. So she gets to triple attack with Flurry. It's the dream.
Yeah, I'm
Eight,
still dreaming over here.
yeah,
I made do with it by giving her triple attack from Nahon.
yeah. I mean that's fair. Um, the funny thing, um, about this is that so this is something that we checked way back in the day, with Warlock, and so she has the very rare she attacks all enemies on the screen at once effect on her normally. That turns off for Flurry. So Flurry overrides that, and she no longer all attacks when that's turned on. So, uh, just a mechanical interaction there. They already thought about this one a while ago.
I thought about that a billion years ago when they first introduced Flurry stuff,
Yep. All
aka
right.
back with Grimnir.
Yep. All right. So, last thing is that her new Transcend EMP supplements damage based on number of foes debuffs. The EMP says 3,000 per debuff to up to 30,000, which once again, now that she's a flurry character for 2 out of 5, 2 out of 5, um, it's very strong. So yeah, great update for Toyen.
Yeah, she was also one of the big candidates to just give bunny buffs to because you needed her to get meter anyways. And
Yeah,
even if she's single twice, it's still more than one.
yeah, I
And
gave
now you're
yeah
triple attacking with double strike.
and supplement and yeah. So this is this is great. Like once again, like a lot of the things that she needed, they gave to her.
Yep, so she's a big winner of this patch.
Huge winner. All right. So next up, we got Fior. This one's subtle, but I'm a huge fan of it. So, among other things, so Gamadian Cross, his skill 1, they separated out the attack down and defense down, and then it still does 2 random debuffs.
That's good. That makes you get the hit counts. That makes you get a lot of things.
Yeah, so that means that it is trying to do 4 debuffs on a single button press, along with the 2 hits of water damage. Um, and then, if you get down to Poignant Edge Plus, which is a Transcend portion, I believe, then you get to cast it twice in a turn. And that means that it's 4 hits and 8 debuffs. And 8 debuffs is a very good number to do. Let me see. Poignant Edge, yeah. Poignant Edge Plus is level 150. So between these two things, he has caught up to a bunch of other characters on number of debuffs on command. And then the last one here, Double Blade Flash Plus, he gets his Dispel back when a foe uses a special attack, and that Dispel happens to have 6 hits of water damage. Um,
That's pretty good.
along with the dispel, and a lot of the time you will be packing the something of justice, the sword, which will add on, a heal, and then sometimes you'll have Maria Theresa adding the nuke and another 2 debuffs at the end. So this
And
catches him.
it
Yeah,
doesn't overlap with his debuffs because they're stackable ones instead of normal attack and normal defense down.
yeah. And so the other thing is this catches him up with Valentine's Cassius. It means that his dispel, which was previously on a freaking 9-turn cooldown, is actually usable on command. Like when you need it,
Yeah,
it'll be there.
that's really good. That
It's
makes it so worth it.
it's enormous. This is great. Note that Double Blade Flash Plus is level 90. It doesn't
Yeah,
require Transcend.
that's super good. He's super good now.
Yeah, I've been using him for years, and now it's even easier to use him. Like he does more hits of water damage a lot more often. Like his skill damage went way up just because he gets to cast these skills basically twice as often. For Carnage, it's actually more than twice as often. And so, yeah, big fan of what they did to Fiora. Thief has a lot of text, but I don't think they actually did much for her.
You get random buffs at the end of her turn. It's really
Yeah,
good actually.
that part is good. That's true. So that
And
part is hidden from the text.
yeah,
All
so
right.
it's like your buffs. Your buffs. The number of buffs you get is dependent on the HP remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So like at full health, you get 4 of them. 3 health, you get. I mean, between 99 and 50% is 3 of them. 49, 25 is 2, and then the rest is 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still getting buffs regardless.
Okay.
Uh, I forget. Does she have the spell cancel? I forget.
She does not, I believe. No, she does. She does. It's on her level 130. That's where it is. Her second skill, the debuff clear, on at level 130 has dispel cancel on it.
Okay. Yeah, so like normal. So these buffs could technically be taken off if you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be fair, Sorcerer's Prodigy is actually no. Sorcerer's Prodigy is at 90, so
Mm-hmm.
you can get this early on actually.
Yeah.
So the list of buffs is 10% light attack up, stackable to 50%,
Mm-hmm.
20% CA damage up, stackable to 100%, 5% CA damage cap up, stackable to 25%, and 5% damage cap up, stackable to 25.
Yeah, the 25% damage cap is very nice.
It's bigger than being hit over and over again and waiting for what's his face? Evoker.
Geisenborger?
Yeah, because I'm like, isn't his like 2%
It's
for
I
time being
actually don't
hits?
notice it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2% up to 10% for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So, um, the things that they put into reincarnation. So, super duper special attack is the transcend CA. Oops. And let's see.
it
So,
lowers the turn count on reincarnation.
which is a 10 turn cooldown. So, lowering that is nice. Reincarnation. The
Bonus light
buffs
damage
got buffed.
effects.
Yeah. And also has uplift.
Uplift. On top of being on the other buffs like 50% TA and stuff like that. It's pretty
Man,
good.
yeah, the old numbers for reincarnation TA, it was like 5% or something like that. It was sad. Now it's real. Once again, going back to the old problems of light, where it's like, yeah, we get a buff to increase triple attack by one person, 5%. But yeah, uh,
Yeah,
it's
now
good.
we get we're living and we're actually also giving someone else the ability to do more damage.
Yeah. Um, the Sorcerer's Prodigy Plus over here, level 90 skill seal, immunity, that brings her up to the level of just Sage, the MC class. And then super special Holy Miracle, uh, reduced turn-based damage taken by light allies. This is technically a nerf for the first part because for the second part, The turn-based damage reduction takes effect even when Fief is in the sub-ally slot, which is nice. So it's a strong passive for things that require it when you're bleeding and such. And so, like, Fief definitely got better. This is significant.
Yeah, your healer's actually doing things other than just healing.
Mm-hmm. And delaying. Like, what she mostly got brought out for was the delay on CA in a lot of cases. Now she does a lot more than just that.
Yep, it's actually really good. It's
Mm-hmm.
really solid.
Speaking of really solid, Tien.
I
One
remember
of
people talk about this. I'm like, dog, this is the greatest thing ever.
So number one, Intense Bullet Plus Plus, the permanent debuff accuracy stuff has been increased.
It used to be garbage. Now I see it hitting on this stupid United fight. She's not on elements.
Yeah, that was really important.
It was
The
so bad.
the next thing was that her skill 4, 10 Wolf's Triumph, grants Onslaught,
And
which
that's
is
important
important.
because she used to not be on cycle.
Yeah, it used to either have to be held or it would just whiff a lot of the time. So now it happens. It's very good. And then the last one is a huge one. So Last Hope Plus, which is what level? 150?
150.
Uh, it lets her cast Intense Bullet a second time. And
Guess
note
who's
that,
using her in United Fight because of that?
and the thing is that also, Intense Bullet is the one that gets reset when she CAs. So, hey, how many hits is Intense Bullet again?
What's her number? What's her number again?
Oh, it's 10?
Yeah, now double that.
Yeah, so she has 20 hits on command. It also comes with, is it 3 debuffs?
Uh,
Or is it 1 random?
it's one random, but technically bounty.
Right. Bounty doesn't count as a debuff landing for a lot of purposes, I think. So it's complicated. But anyway, so yeah, she has 30 hits of skill damage on command, and then when she CAs, she gets 20 of them back. So, you know, and she gets to level 6 bounty on turn 1, and then gets the rest of it once she CAs. This is also a huge buff to her. This is great.
Yeah, it's super good. I look every time I look at people like have takes online. I'm like, you're all stupid. This is one of the one they were dumb about. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. Maria Teresa's is a little unfocused, I think. So
It's
uh
like in their skill 4, right?
yeah, so her skill 4, when she hits skill 4, resets her skill 1, which is important because that's the dispel. That's the one that was um supposed to be cast after you give the enemy a shield that can be dispelled. Um and then it also activates twice. So you get, double the dispel. You get what I think 2 hits with some debuff on attached to it because she gets unrighteousness and a few other things. But
But that was just only unrighteousness when she's frontline.
yeah,
Like you get way better debuffs when she's backline, and someone
yeah,
else does the spell.
yeah. Um, Basically that one is a convenience thing. It doesn't really address like the full discontent with her skill 4. Um, and then we have Empress Upright Plus got buffed, where when she goes back to front, she just full heals everybody,
And removes all debuffs.
which is nice. Like, that one's nice. Along with just the giant package of buffs that she gives when going from back to front once you transcend her. Or not transcend, uncap. But,
At least he already got a devotion justice, so going full health is not bad.
mhm.
But it doesn't address like issues of using her.
I mean, I still use her, but this doesn't change her use cases or like make her that much better in those use cases. It does make her way better in hexachromatic hierarch, which is where she comes in the most often for me, because that that boss tends to just murder a bunch of my characters in the last few percent. And so having everybody at full health with a huge package of buffs, really good. Uh, Anything else to say about Maria Theresa?
Nope.
All right, Stariola. Um, they changed his skill 4 in such a way that it activates more often, and especially if you turn off CA. But
Yeah,
you were
auto
already using
activates
him.
when the charge bar is at 100% at the start of the turn.
Yeah, like this doesn't change anything. He was already being used. He'll still be used. Yeah, like this is kind of a nothing burger here.
I mean, you get supplemental damage now. That's cool.
Yeah,
Before and also now you get CA 20% CA damage up and CA damage cap, but the best use case is to not CA at all.
yeah. Also true. Yeah, that's nothing else to say about this one. Then comes Frau, the one that they gave you the one that you had been begging for like a year.
Yeah, the stupid no requirement on HP.
Yep.
That was
So
so dumb.
now she just gets to press her skill 4 whenever she wants to.
And also we get 30k supplemental skill damage on the entire party.
Yeah. So the supplemental skill damage is really nice. It is quite noticeable. So yeah, those were the 8 updates. Um, they went from nothing to great to great to good, great, fine-ish, nothing, and good.
I would change that good to it should have been like this to begin with.
You are allowed to say that. I do not disagree. But yeah, so that's it. That's it for this week. Um, Sometime this month, we're going to be getting the new player dojo, which for entrenched players like us, will just throw a bunch of rewards at us. Um, but it'll be really nice to just go through with a new account and just see what it's like to do all of these new player missions. Like I'm looking forward to that, just the new onboarding process. But we also have,
That will make that one challenge they did on Satellite Stage easier.
yeah,
Just go from new account and do these tasks or get
also true.
rewards.
Um, but yeah, that's uh, we don't know exactly when that's going to happen. They just said April, so sometime in the next 3 weeks. Um, at this time next week, we will have Flash Gala characters to talk about, and then maybe a preview of Rise of the Beasts. We'll see. Until then,
I'm excited for Rise of the Beast.
yeah, they're doing some good changes to make it just convenient.
They're
So
also just putting changes because nothing's really changed in the past year.
yeah, also true.
I'll
With
get my
that,
final
well,
outfit probably.
oh yeah, you were waiting on those? Nice.
No, I was not waiting. It just never came.
Oh, okay. Well, with that, we have covered what we're going to cover. Um, there, let's see here. No, the magazine stuff that I've been looking at, like I have a few interviews that I'm looking to translate. Like there's one with the art team, there's one with KMR. The KMR one I'll probably translate from the anniversary issue of Famitsu, but I mean, it's been real busy. I haven't had time to do any of these things.
Yeah, that came out like last month, and you've been like nonstop doing stuff. So
I've been traveling, yeah, but now that I'm actually at home, I'm tired. I'm doing
you're doing
laundry and cleaning
chores.
and stuff. Yeah, it's been nice, but yeah, people were like, "Hey, when's the next time you're gonna travel?" I'm like, "Hopefully Not for a while.
Maybe hopefully not June. Or
Yeah.
maybe hopefully June.
Oh man, like I'm
See you tomorrow on those lottos, not lottos, first come first serves.
the first come first serves. Man, 8 p.m. right?
You're the one who said it was 8 p.m.
Yeah, I have very little hope for that one, but I mean, I
I
might
mean,
as well.
I got lucky on mine, so it could
Yeah,
happen.
it could happen. We'll see.
Mine said it was sold out, and then I refreshed it like a couple minutes later, and there is availability.
I mean, to be fair, that's exactly what happened to me with Yoasobi tickets, so I understand. All right. So thanks for joining me tonight, DJ. Thanks for joining me tonight, everybody. We're out of here.